Hey, I didn't forget about you. You're a person that needs to be in a place where you are working close with someone else, a mentor, a friend, someone that could take you to the deeper and more intricate parts about being a sales engineer, but you don't know where to go. Learnful is a program that allows you to work with people that are high ranking sales engineers, solution architects, solutions advisors, and they're able to not only mentor you, but teach you the ways to become a sales engineer that can be impactful for you. If you think that Learnful is for you, go ahead and click on the link below for more information. You can use my promo code Joseph150 to be able to save. Go ahead and click the link below. And now back to our show. Good morning, good morning, good morning. I hope you are doing well, family. I hope you are doing well. This is an exciting one that we have today, and I'm so glad to have you on. Now, before I introduce my guests, I just want to say thank you to our sponsors of our show, Learnful. This is headed up by Nigel, who is a principal sales engineer at his company right now, a top Fortune 500 company, and they're doing amazing stuff. And so he has decided to take time to teach people how to become a sales engineer, pre-sales with his course. So if you want to find out more about that, go ahead at youtube.com/@Techniche tips and go ahead and click the link and learn more about Learnful. All right. But before I even get there, I have exciting news. We have a guest to the stage. Big Poppa Code is in the building. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing incredible. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming on, man. Thank you for coming on. This is going to be a lot of fun. And I mean, this guy is an innovator. He is an educator. He has done great things in this sphere. He's a technologist. So we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about his journey. We're going to talk about all the things he's doing to help people and educate them, and also future trends. So you want to stay for the Q&A portion of this conversation, which is going to happen later after the 30-minute mark of the show. So go ahead and do that. But I got to go to my peoples. I got to go to the peoples in the crowd. And we got Operation Tech Takeover in the building. He says, peace and blessings, family. We have Darcel as well. Peace and blessings to you as well, Darcel. Good morning, fam. He says, Mitch is in here as well. He said, what up, fam? Everybody, it's a little family reunion. Oh, we got Tech Coach Ralph in the building as well. Good morning, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. Appreciate y'all for going ahead and doing that. Especially if you're on youtube.com/@Techniche tips. Definitely go ahead and subscribe to the channel, and also subscribe to Big Poppa's channel because he has a podcast as well. We can talk about it all and some. And so this definitely is going to be really good. Yeah, we're going to plug you, brother. We're going to plug. I plug all my guests here. This is not the me show. This is the us show, right? So got also Tech Job Tina in the building. She has a great channel as well. So go ahead and connect with Tech Job Tina as she takes you along her journey in the tech sales space and arena. So listen, I did a little introduction for you, but people may not understand all that you do. Do you mind sharing a bit more of your story in regards to just where you are right now? And then we'll dive deeper as we continue the conversation.
Yeah, definitely. To stop it from being like a 45-minute thing about my whole entire life, I'll just briefly say I've been coding. I learned how to code. I'm a software engineer. And I started off as being a webmaster and a freelance web developer. And I was, when I first was starting, I was a freelance web developer while I was active duty in the military. And I did that for a number of years. More recently, like over the past 7 years, I've been working at various different startups. I worked at a large Black media company, Blavity.com. I also, worked at, a space startup in Silicon Valley, and a bunch of other places. And one thing I've done consistently for the last 6 years is I've been involved in coding boot camps. So I've actually, worked with 3 different ones. One being one of the largest coding boot camps in the world, which is General Assembly. And also I've helped out at at a couple others as well. And that's just what I've been doing a lot recently. And that's kind of what pointed me in the direction I'm going now, which is to really focus more on, at least what we're trying to do with Deeper Than Code is, not just talk about like the how of how you build things and how you do this, et cetera. That's what you learn at a coding boot camp, at college, et cetera. But more so what the why is, why these technologies are important, how they're going to affect our lives in the future, how you have to prepare yourself, for the changing landscape that's coming from technological advancements. And that's where we're putting a lot of focus. Still made that long, but see, it's a good thing I didn't talk.
No worries. There was a lot of good stuff in there. And first of all, I want to kind of go back a little bit. I have siblings that served in the military. So thank you for your service, first and foremost, as well. Which branch of the military, if you don't mind me asking, that you served in?
Served in the U.S. Navy. Hoo-yah.
All right. Navy gets all the gravy, but the Army gets the beans, right? As the song used to say. Oh, yeah. So, and this is going to be interactive conversation, y'all. So go ahead and put your thoughts and comments in the chat. Listen, it's not just the two of us here. Everybody is a part of this conversation. So, I'm going to randomly put up stuff like Tech Coach Ralph said here. Subscribe to Big Poppa Code on YouTube, youtube.com/@bigpoppacode. Big Poppa Code. Yeah, you know what it is. It's right there. You know what it is. So go ahead and do that as well. And so we're going to definitely be calling on people throughout the show just to share their opinions and thoughts. And we're going to save the questions for the Q&A portion. So definitely stay tuned for that. And so listen, you said it yourself, Arthur. You did a lot. You've done a lot. And so let me ask you this. From all of your time in your undergrad doing software engineering, what started that passion? Did you just always had a passion for computers and computer science?
Yeah, let me I'll tell the story
Please do.
really quick. And it really comes down to this. I was in high school and I did really good in this elective coding course. And at the end of the day, it was one of the first classes that like came like so easily to me, and also was just like it was incredibly fun.
Yeah.
And a little bit later on, I was on the step team in high school. I don't know if y'all know what step dance is.
Wait, you stepped? You brought it like something, y'all.
I wasn't that good, but I was good enough that I could stand there on the stage while the other people were really nice.
It must be something in the atmosphere.
Only part that I was good at is I could jump really high back then. So it was a couple times in like shows I would like jump over somebody's head or something like that, and I'd be like, oh, stuff like that.
Yeah.
But we got invited to like because my team was from Brooklyn, New York, and so we was like, we got to be cool or whatever. So instead of like bringing like the cheerleaders to the robotics competition or whatever, not that pretty sure that would have been fine. But we came as the step team to like hype them up, right? And because they asked us to do it, so we went and did it. And after that event, we went to the sponsor's house in Manhattan, and and I gotta like highlight that this was a house in Manhattan, not an apartment.
Wow.
This is a dude's house, and it was like a multiple story tall, like basically like building, was his house. And I was like, and at some point when I was talking to him, because I'm like type person just gonna ask questions, especially when I was a teenager.
Yeah.
I'm a little bit have a little bit more tact now as an adult, but back then, yeah, I'm just gonna talk to you. So I was like, yo, man, you got a lot of money. What do you do?
Yeah.
And he was like, that's a little complicated for me to go into, but this is what writing good code gets you. And I was like, I was like, oh, word. That thing that I'm already kind of, that I'm kind of nice at already, I might want to pay attention to that. So I went home and I was like bothering my parents. I was like, yo, dad, I need you to sign this paper because I need my specialization in high school to change to coding. It's like, what the heck are you talking about, man? Don't you gonna be a doctor or something like that? It's like, nah, man, I need to do this. And he didn't let me change. So he didn't let me change. But he did encourage it. And what he did do is he went and got like, my pops went out and bought like some like, random computer stuff. He didn't know what the heck it was. But he was like, oh, you want to keep doing this? Here's a better computer.
Here's a mouse.
Here's some stuff. It's like, and then like, back then, not everybody had internet. I'm not gonna date myself, but back when I was that age, not everybody had an internet or had a computer. You didn't need that, but he was like, oh, let me go ahead and set up a whole extra phone line so you got the internet. It's better you better do something with this eventually.
Oh, that AOL dial-up was something else.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So we ain't got the faster internet and all stuff like that. We got like this thing called web TV. That kind of got a little crazy or whatever the case may be. But yeah, so shout out to my pops, for that. And then later on, and I kept doing it. So I kept self-teaching myself because I didn't do any formal classes after that. And then I was had been doing webmastering or whatever because I got a chance to work at a nonprofit where I was doing that. And but I needed to I started to get older and I needed to make more money and then I joined the military, blah blah blah. But I was freelancing, and there was this course that was like supposed to take your freelancing to the next level, all that stuff like that, and it was like a lot of money. And I didn't have the money, and my parents didn't really have the money either. But somehow, I suckered my mother into getting me the course. My father was like, "Yo, you tripping right now? It costs mad money." My mother just put it on her credit card or whatever, and then I went and took that. And then I kept saying like, "Man, I know my mom ain't really have that money like that." And my pops looked mad, so I need to make sure I really do something. Yeah, I gotta make sure I really do something with that.
Yeah,
and it taught me how to do PHP, which was the first like real programming language I learned really, really well. Wow. And then I started like making PHP websites for everybody and doing like automated webinars before there were like automatic tools that did it for you. And I was doing that for people. Yeah. And and I did a lot of that. So the answer is, was I passionate about it always? Yeah, from the moment that person told me that like you make a lot of money. And I was like, all right, cool.
Yeah. And you know what's so funny? First of all, you're a funny guy. I don't even know if you know how funny you are just by talking, which is a great thing. But like, just it was like purpose and profit collided, right? Because you were naturally good at this. You actually liked what you did, but then you're like, wait a second, I could actually make money doing this, and that's kind of how I stumbled into tech sales because I was kind of doing it already. I liked it, and then I found out about tech sales. I'm like, wait a second, I'm doing the same thing. I could actually make money from this. So like, and so it was kind of like that revelation, like, right skills, wrong boat. I need to get over there. I needed to find out how to get into that space. So you went to school for it. You did it in your undergrad, and then you decided, and then like you said, you got into these amazing companies and things of that nature. Like, how was it basically your journey from college, trying to navigate in this space to really kind of find a niche for you that says, oh, this is what I want to do within this space of software, being a software engineer?
Cool. And just to clarify one thing, I didn't do it during my undergrad. I took one class in high school, and then while I was in the military is when I was doing undergrad, right? And I was doing and I did management because that's what you do when you're in the military, because you can do that while you're doing stuff. I actually, but that course that I took, that was the next thing that was like it was like basically like a coding boot camp in a box. Yeah. Right. And it was all about PHP or whatever. So that pointed me in the right direction. And I just did a whole lot of like, I kept like every single time I made money, I kept like grabbing, what's it called? Like online courses and stuff like that. Like I didn't take formal classes, like college type classes in coding until I did my master's. I did my master's in software development. But that was way after the fact. I had already been doing it for a while. I was just like, I need some papers to show that like I know what I'm doing. So I did that, and but can you ask your question again?
No, you're doing great. Because the way I was thinking about it is, I saw that you had, like you said, your master's in it. I saw that you took time to develop in your skill set, obviously by doing the job. You did a boot camp, right? And you were able to land it. How are you able to then like kind of go throughout your journey? You're picking up things, right? And you're saying, okay, I like this about being a software engineer. Some things are like, I wish that wasn't part of the job. It might be in regards to negotiate, the politics or whatever that surround what we do. But you were able to find your place. How were you able to navigate those different terrains and find your place in tech where you're like, listen, this right here is where I want to be?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Well, I'll tell you one thing with freelancing
Yeah.
that was incredible.
Mm.
Because I literally got, because the thing that I like about software engineering and web development is I like the fact that somebody comes completely with an idea, and they have no idea how to bring it to life, and then they're like, and and I gotta, like, ex nihilo, like bring it, bring something out of nothing from their idea and bring
Yeah.
it to life. And I like doing that, and I like the look on their face where it's like, man, I didn't even know it was gonna be able to XYZ or whatever. Like that made me excited. I remember like one of the first like
Wow.
big websites I did. I did it for this rapper called Constant, and I did a website for him, and I mean, and he was one of those clients that was like, some clients come with like a fully formed out like plan, idea, and all stuff. That it's like, yo, man, I got this music, got some mixtapes. I don't know, man. Here's some pictures.
Make magic happen.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, let me get something. Like, yo, you want what colors you want? It's like, I don't even know, man. That's up to you. I just need this done. So I'm like, all right, cool. And I went and I made it. And he was like, yo, I didn't even know you could do that. Then all of a sudden he had a bunch of ideas.
Uh-oh. Now he's inspired.
Now I got a bunch of ideas after the fact, just like that validation of like, okay, you have something that doesn't exist, and then you're gonna take it from not existing to existing. That's what I love the most. And when it comes to like politics and stuff like that, I've worked at a lot of startups, so which is what I like, because I know I don't like working at big companies. I know that because I was in the military, which is a gigantic company.
Yeah.
And I know I didn't want to do that at all.
Yeah.
But I like working at a startup because you get like the little family energy. So like pretty much every company I've worked at's been like, even General Assembly when I started it still was huge, but it was like had like a startup type energy.
Yeah.
And yeah, so that I like that. And I did and working at contracts on some larger company and stuff like that, because I did a lot of contracting, was fine. And there was a little bit of like, um, some politics and things of that nature. But where I kind of found a place and kind of felt like, okay, I know I'm going to do this forever and ever and ever, was like 7 years ago, when I got started at Blavity, or six, whatever it was. It's something like that. 6 or 7 years ago. But at the end of the day, I started at Blavity, and I got to work for Jeff Nelson. And I say it all the time, like, like working for Jeff was amazing. Like, because I got to see somebody who was basically actualizing what I wanted to be. And I got to see him like doing it in real life. Like he was already doing what I wanted to do. Like he had made like this thing called Concourse DB, which was his own database. He had started a second startup called Synchoppy, and all the stuff like that. He had chief of staff, he had this, he was working on Blavity, he had this
Wow.
office, that office. And I was like, yo, like Jeff is the man. Like, so I don't know. I probably got on his nerves a lot. But at the end of the day, I'd always try to find a reason to ask him a question. I didn't even need to. I just find a reason just to be talking to him for like no reason, because I just wanted to soak up like the gems and the information that he give. He didn't even probably even notice sometimes that he was like helping me out when he was doing stuff. Because I mean, I was working for him, so I'm doing stuff. He asked
Yeah.
but it was, for me, it was more about like I wanted to, and I always would ask him, well, why do we want to do that? Why do we want to do that? And then he would say, this is why I want to do that. And I'm like, that's why. Got it. Note taken. You know what I mean? And just keep getting that from him. So it was great to see that. And also like, and of course, he's a Black software engineer, worked at a whole bunch of great companies, building great stuff.
Yeah.
So seeing him do that is what like inspired me to go ahead and like make, I made a couple things, not as big as his stuff, but I made a programming language called MambaScript that I got to use in my startup when me and my partner started our startup. And also this other thing that I'm working on now, which I won't even go into, but it's it has to do with stocks and stuff like that. So I'll unveil that when it's time to unveil it. But got to use JavaScript there as well, and other people have got a chance to use it and have liked it. And I think it's a really well put together language. But I would never have thought I can do something like that if I didn't see him do it first.
Yeah.
You listen to rap? You ever heard you ever heard that song from Cameron? And he's trying to and he says yeah, exactly, Killer Cam. And he's like, when it comes to Jimmy, my name's Me Too. And he said that like, that's the way I was. That's the way I was like with Jeff. Well, Jeff did it. Me too. I'm gonna try to do it too.
and that's how we learn. We learn by basically emulating those before us that have really kind of paved the way. And we say, hey, you doing that? I'm by your coat. I'm right by your coattail. I'm right here. I'm definitely not doing it. And Mitch said, "LOL, me too." Listen, y'all. We're gonna definitely have this Q&A session, a portion of the conversation, as you can see it scrolling down the bottom, youtube.com/@Techniche tips. So definitely make sure you are set for that, because we're about to talk about some more things there. Right now, we're just talking about the journey, but the Q&A portion of the conversation, that's when it gets fun. So you definitely want to be able to lock in on that. If you're on Instagram, and if you're on Instagram, you'll be there. But if you're on LinkedIn, unfortunately, you'll be missing out on this part of the conversation. So you got to jump over to youtube.com/@Techniche tips. That's youtube.com/@Techniche tips in order to be a part of the Q&A portion of the conversation. So again, you emulated him and you said, you know what, I want to do exactly what you did. But then you decided to say, this is deeper than code, right? This is a lot deeper, and I need to help people be able to break in, be able to transition into this career and do other things. So can you talk a little bit about how you decided to say, you know what, I want to empower others through education by me starting something?
Yeah, definitely. There's a couple things that I'm working on with that at the moment, like a couple free courses and things of that nature. That I hope people are gonna like, put a lot of energy into them.
Nice.
But the main idea is very simply that the world is rapidly changing, and we can see that all around us. Like the way things were in 2010 are even so drastically different than they are right now in 2024. That's just 14 years. And like the timeline for how fast things change is compressing and compressing and compressing, over time. So it was a time when it was like, you would only know about tech stuff if you were cool, but now it's becoming like a necessity for it to be something that you understand if you're going to stay part of the marketplace. And especially there are people that are like a little bit older that are around my age, pushing 40, and older than that aren't like embracing it the same way, but aren't thinking about the fact that they want to keep working for 20 more years. Right. So you want to keep working for 20 more years, and how fast the world is changing. And unless you actually learn how certain things work, how the trajectory of where things are, so you can prepare yourself for that, you're going to end up getting, as my friend Liberty says, getting blockbustered. Liberty Madison, she says that all the time, relating that to the fact that we all know Blockbuster had multiple opportunities to buy Netflix, and now Blockbuster does not exist, and Netflix is Netflix. One of the top stocks, and all the stuff like that, large company, all that stuff, because they embrace technology, and Blockbuster didn't. They tried to keep things the way they are, but you can't do that. Or even another example, I think is even somewhat a better example, is like if you look at Sears, you look at Walmart, and you look at Amazon, right?
Brick and mortars, yeah.
Sears is gone, right? And Walmart is still around, but Walmart started to be like, okay, I'm going to embrace technology. And if you look at like a map, you'll see like Sears going down, 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 down. Walmart kind of doing this, and then Amazon starting, and then Amazon taking completely over. But Walmart saying, "Oh, I saw what we did to Sears. I'm not gonna let what happened, what we did to Sears. I'm not gonna let all Amazon do that to us. So we're gonna try to keep up a little bit." And you can see that, based on decisions that you saw those companies making. In Sears, it's funny because Sears only started because they embraced some technology to start off with, because they started with the catalogs, right? And the catalogs changed everything way back in the day. People don't think about that as tech, but I mean, like before, the merchants were running everything, and then Sears and Roebuck, all that stuff like that. They came out with catalogs, all that. Anybody could go in. This is the price. The price can't change because it's in the catalog, and I can make a phone call and I can go ahead and get XYZ. They're leveraging that new technology of the phone, and now boom, and then they blow up and become multi-billion-dollar company. That happens every single day, and it's happening faster because Sears had a good multi-decade run. They didn't have to change anything, right? So. But not the case right now. Like Amazon's got to update their stuff all the time. So just if you kind of like shrink that down to a microcosm of like an individual worker, there's technology that you're going to have to learn how to take advantage of. Probably the one that touches you the most is going to be AI. So
absolutely. Oh man, this is so good. This is so good. We're gonna have a good time. You know what? I'm gonna do something for the LinkedIn, the LinkedIn community that I haven't done in a long time. And I'm going to actually transition to a thought that was actually shared by Tech Coach Ralph that I want to address with you. So this is kind of like the introduction to the Q&A, but he said, I think Agile played a big role in the acceleration of getting things to market. I wanted to hear your thoughts on that before we transition to Q&A.
Yeah, 100% agree with that. I think Agile did definitely play a big role in the acceleration of things because at the end of the day, and for people that don't know what, I think everybody knows what we're talking about.
Well, you can explain it still because we have a large audience. We have Instagram, we have
cool.
YouTube.
Well, I'll quickly say this, right? You could build stuff the way that people used to build it, where it's just like waterfall kind of approach, or like you just keep doing stuff and doing stuff and doing stuff and doing stuff and doing stuff, and not say that's goalless, but like you just doing stuff. Whereas when you're building things in more of an agile framework, you actually are creating like benchmarks, goals, that you want to hit. So like, so for example, when a software team specifically, since that's where I have the knowledge, I'll bring up the fact of at the end of every 2 weeks, what we do is like we have basically an end goal that needs to be completed in these 2 weeks. Like these features need to be completed within this time. So you time box it and say within these 2 weeks, this is the end result that we're looking to do. These are the steps we need to take to get there. Then at the end of that, basically a milestone at the end of those 2 weeks, to say words I know more people will understand, but we have that milestone we have to hit at the end. And then we can evaluate, whether we hit that milestone or we didn't. And if we didn't hit the milestone, we can quickly say, okay, what was it? As a retrospective, what didn't we do? What didn't go well? What went well? We should keep doing. What do you need to stop doing? Any wins, any losses, that sort of thing. So we can evaluate ourselves as we're going, and we can keep having like a thing that we must hit, because people work better when there's like you need to do this by this date, right? And it's like, okay, let's go ahead and do it. And also, really getting into the science of like breaking things down into how like into units, basically saying that like, this will take, this amount of time, this will take this amount of time, this is a blocker for this. Like you can map things out a whole lot better that way. And I was even explaining that to my mom in more detail. We had a much longer conversation than that's like 2 hours talking about that. And my mom was like, you know what, it's kind of nice. I might want to, like, I feel like, but my mom is like, like a hard charger, like when it was a whole lot harder for Black women to like break in and become like high ranking like executives and stuff like that. Like I watched my mom go from like working like at a token booth to like being the boss of like a whole entire thing in like the Metropolitan Transit Authority and all that stuff like that. Like I watched that whole trajectory, and she's kind of like a NBA player that like, oh, she's not listening because she might be like, shut up, but she's like an NBA player that like retires, that likes to be like really, really good. And she's so every single time she hears something cool, she's like, oh, I need to get back in the game. Hold up. And she got like the pantsuit in the closet. In the closet, like how the NBA players got like the jersey. Like, hold on, let me go get that. I need to get in on that. So she's like, oh man, I need to be a scrum master. Hold up, let me go ahead and do this real quick. So she's
got that itch. She's like, I still got game. I still got game. going to YMCA. Like, let's go. I'm ready. Oh man, that is so good. And you know what's so perfect? I wanted to talk about it. Actually, we both wanted to talk about future trends in predictions, and I think this is a good segue to do that. I'm going to go to the comment section real quickly because we're going to transition over to the Q&A. So if you are on Instagram, y'all, we love you. If you want your questions to be seen on screen, come over to youtube.com/@Techniche tips to be able to jump on this. Also, if you're on LinkedIn, do the same thing as well. But I'm going to give you all some time, right? We're going to have some commercial breaks from Course Careers and also from Leveled Careers, which is both sponsors of the show. So I'm going to give you a little time to make that transition. But before I do, I'm going to go to the comment section because we have some good comments in here. We have Lady Burns said, LOL, love catalogs. Catalogs was a thing. And so she says he loved catalogs. And of course, Tech Coach Ralph is pushing you. He's like, connect with Big Papa Code on LinkedIn as well. Love that we're pushing each other forward. He said, don't go chasing waterfalls. That is hilarious. Fast and continuous feedback loops. Exactly. Agile to me is just like, listen, this ain't working. We're going to move, right? We're going to be able to adjust as quickly as we can. And you would think that that's how companies used to work, but no. not really. A lot of things were going wrong for a long time. My wife and I have daily stand-ups. That's actually a good point. That's actually a good point.
That's a good plan. I should probably do that.
Me too. I was thinking about that, like budget-wise, like, okay, we can do that sort of thing we have, but like to do a stand-up every day, you're making me think, brother. You're making me think. Lady Burns says always ready. And then we have Saki here as well. It says, I don't have a question, but I'm just so proud of my brother.
Hey, that's my sister.
That's your biological sister for real?
Yeah. That's my sister.
Oh, that's cool, man. So glad you stepped by. So glad you stepped by. Definitely appreciate that for sure. So the family's in the building. This is awesome. We have Corey Smith that says, what do you say to people who say AI is going to replace software engineers? We're going to pause right there. We're going to go to commercial break, but when we come back, that's the question we're going to answer, all right? So everybody stay put. We're going to go to commercial break, and then when we come back, that is the question we're going to answer. So I'm glad you said it, Corey. And let us go. See you on the other side. Back again. You talked about Course Careers Technology Sales Course and what it did to change my life. Wait, there's more. Not only is it technology sales, information technology courses as well. Now there's human resources, customer success, UI, UX. And did I even mention that there also is software development as well? Front end, back end, and DevOps? Listen, this is something that you definitely want to take advantage of. So go ahead and click that link. Don't forget there's a discount from me if you click that link, and I hope to see you on the other side. Do you feel stuck? Do you feel like you're just at the same place in your career and you don't really see a way out? This is a great time for you to take it to the next level. Level Careers is a course that I've been talking about for some time. From account executive and even sales engineering, there are courses that can help you propel from where you are now to where you want to go. Check out the link below, use my promo code Joseph10, and check out the free courses, whether that's the SOC analyst course, the account executive course, or the sales engineer course. Take your career to the next level. All right, we're back, and welcome back, as they say. That was a great question, and also Corey, Tech Coach Ralph agrees that's a great question, because this is something that has also been said in regards to tech sales professionals, specifically SDRs. What do people say when it comes to AI? Is it going to replace software engineers? What are your thoughts on that, Big Papa? Hold on one second. There you go. You're good now.
Cool. Yeah, I have a lot to say about that, and it's and basically what it comes down to is in order to say my answer, I have to make a point. And the point I'll make is that whenever we get technology, whenever new technology comes out, it's always going to displace jobs, right? And it's also going to create new jobs. But if a technology is employed properly, and it's allowed to really permeate and do the best work that it can do, like it's going to create more than it's going to take away. An example is, and I get this from my father. I always got to tell a story. So, I'll say it if I could tell the story really quickly, and then it'll make sense in a moment. But let's say I'm, I don't know, 10,000 BC. I don't know, some time way back in the past, right? And I eat by just eating, the way that my tribe or whatever eats food is we just eat apples off a tree, right? So the thing that basically the way it works is that the only way that I can eat is by putting my hand up and grabbing an apple, or somebody helping me grab an apple, and I can grab the most available apples, right? And when those available apples are kind of gone, then I don't have any more apples that I can eat anymore, right? Like now I'm in scarcity. I don't have any apples. So there might be people that like get employed, like maybe they're 6'7" tall. They can grab higher apples. So they're like the people doing their thing the most because they can reach a little bit higher than everybody else. But overall, it's that's essentially how you get access to the apples. But then somebody smart comes along and then says, let's say two different smart people, one person comes along and builds a technology called the ladder. And then now even somebody short can come up and they can put the ladder up, put the ladder up next to the to the thing. And then now even a shorter person can get up there and reach even more apples. And now all of a sudden a whole new world of abundance comes up because now you can reach more apples. Then somebody else comes along after that and they say, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and build a trampoline, right? And now the trampoline now, it can get you even higher than the ladder, but it requires a little bit more nuance and skill to use a trampoline correctly.
So good.
You can. You know what I mean? That you can grab them. So that's that technology that's what enhances. Now you can grab even more. It's just harder to use than the ladder. So I will say some of like the base technology that we've already got access to in the world of software engineering, like things like React and Webpack and all these things like that that take code you wrote and turn it into other code and stuff like that, where it's really deterministic, etc. They already accelerated us, and things that you used to have to do in 2003, you don't have to do now, right?
Yeah.
When we get into AI, what AI is going to essentially do is more like the trampoline. Is that even though it's something super powerful that you can do more with, you need to learn how to direct it in the correct way so that it does what you're trying to accomplish. And so, what I do think one skill that's going to be devalued just a tad bit is the ability to be able to write the most amazing, sophisticated, greatest code ever. Right? You still will need to be able to do that to a certain extent, but it's going to make literally the idea of engineering and building things simpler, because you can talk to an AI in plain language. Just like you've seen, everybody's seen, Black Panther, whatever. You see Siri talking to Shuri talking
Yeah.
talking to her AI, and then you see Iron Man talking to Friday and Jarvis or whatever. You can just
Yeah.
tell the AI what you want, and then it can go ahead and try to do it. You can declare this is what I want to happen, and it can go ahead and do it for you. You can look at it. You still have to do stuff with what it's doing. It's helping you through the process. It gives you like that ability, so you can kind of start coding more in like plain language, which is what people want to be able to do anyway. So there's going to be ways to unlock that in a different way. So do I think it will replace software engineers? No, but I think it would change the function of software engineers, which are people that want to engineer software. It's going to change the way that they interact. But every once in a while, Iron Man grabs the computer and says, "Jarvis, chill out. I got this. Let me cook." Boom.
That's true.
And sometimes you got to go in there. You got to tell Jarvis, chill for a second. Let me go ahead and take this over. And so that's what I foresee in the immediate future. And it's going to allow more people to do this than than other people than you could do otherwise.
Listen, y'all, go ahead. Before I even say anything else, go ahead and share this with somebody else that needs to hear this information, because this is really good stuff. I love what you said, because I specifically work in AI with contact centers for Fortune 500 companies and above, right? Or 1,000 companies or whatever. But basically, in regards to like what you said is so true. It's really in the beholder. Who is beholding this AI tool? What are their intentions? Because one person who is in a leadership position could say, you know what, I want our team to excel. So I'm going to give this tool to them so that everybody can eat, right? So that we all could eat, we all could grow. While somebody else might say, hey, what department could I cut? like how many people can I let go because this is a lot cheaper, and I'm looking at the bottom line. I'm looking to save money versus to really kind of, do other things, right? So it really is, in my mind, like you said, which was very eloquently said. I love how you put that together. It really is in the mindset of the person that's utilizing it. But also what you said is so true. It's going to be used in a way. It's going to have people function differently. You're not going to be worried about the mundane task anymore. You can be able to focus and be strategic about certain things because that's already being taken care of by AI. All right, so they have some actual responses here from people, and I want to make sure I get to them all. Tech Coach Ralph actually has a few responses, and Corey Smith came back with another question. So I'm going to leave Corey Smith's question for the last portion right here. He says, I see AI as enhancing our capabilities and speed to getting more things done, i.e. from horses to Ford Mustangs, from days to hours of travel. Absolutely. Also, AI is only as good as a prompt you feed it into it. Mm-hmm. And then I have a question here for you.
And can I do a shameless plug right there? With
please
the
do.
That's actually a product that I'm about to come out with soon. That
come on now.
just has like a complete pack of of prompts that you can give to AI to do a bunch of different tasks. And the prompts are not generated by AI. So prompts are human. And so that you can go ahead and put them in, and also, upgrades to be able to turn it into automated bots to be able to do automatic tasks for you, etc. So that's something that I'm actually almost done with. That'll be out soon, but and it's really, really cheap. It's $7. So for the prompts.
I'm interested in finding out more about that, because having the right prompt is everything.
Mm-hmm.
Having the right prompt is everything. Technical drop. He's speaking my love language. Yeah, y'all. I don't know if you guys are connected, but y'all definitely should connect. He's
definitely.
Yeah, definitely. Corey Smith says, "Does AI devalue SE? Could engineers command the same salary with the presence of AI?" Good question.
That's a good question. I don't have the answer to. I don't, because I don't know the way that the landscape is going to look. I have an idea, right? And that I could kind of steal from the writer of You Don't Know JS, Kyle Simpson.
Yeah.
Because he had a whole detailed, multi-page, dissertation about what he thinks about this answer. I don't know if he's right, but he's pretty smart and he convinced me. But doesn't mean that he's incorrect. And essentially what he said, the short version of it, you could find a post on LinkedIn. It went viral. So plenty of people probably have seen it. Essentially what he thinks is that what's going to happen is that it's going to make it so there are less software engineering jobs at the top. I mean, there's less principal software engineer roles and stuff like that are available, because that principal software engineer can handle more. You're supposed to be handling architecture and things like that and direction at that level anyway, but that'd be simpler for them to do that, because there will be all of the junior engineers will be armed with these extra tools that make it easier for them to write code. Just like if I wanted to build a single page application in 2008, it was hard. But now, I can spin up React, and in 2 seconds, a junior engineer could have it running. And they can learn React in a couple of weeks if they know how to code. So, you know what I mean? That sort of thing. So it's just a further enhancement of that, is that you need less, chefs at the top. At the same way as you needed more managers. If you think of assembly line type stuff, before you had an assembly line, you needed more managers. But then once you had factories and assembly lines, you could have one manager covering hundreds of people. And so that's what he is forecasting. He believes is going to happen. And so there'll be more, junior, mid-level, and senior, which would by default mean that those principal level roles that pay 1.5 million and 800K and 3 million full compensation and stuff like that. People didn't know you can make that much money. You can, but I mean, all of those, there will be way less of those to go around.
Wow.
And then, and then his forecast is there'll be more, of the junior, mid-level, senior roles to go around at the bottom. Like there'll be an expansion of that, just like we've seen the expansion when more companies started going online, started to build tech, etc., and all those roles started to open up. So that's his thought. So it's like shortens the ceiling but opens up the base of the pyramid is where he's going, because like he basically saying like at this point, if you already are at that level, also you might as well just start a company and build a little SaaS, and then have your own people, etc. So that's the idea. And then he went and started his own company after that, after making that long post.
You got to practice what he preaches.
Exactly. So and like I said, he's a really smart guy. Very well respected. Been writing JavaScript since the mid '90s. Like I learned a whole lot from him. Like basically since the JavaScript started, he started writing JavaScript basically. And he has a book series called You Don't Know JS, which is really, really, really good. Like really good. It's probably the best. Like if you're a front end, full stack developer, that type of thing, it's the best book you could pretty much buy and or get on free on GitHub, because he has it for free on GitHub. You could just read the GitHub commits, but if you want it in hand, you got to get it on Amazon.
Love it. And Tech Coach Ralph actually responded to that as well. He said in the comments here, it will devalue those who don't embrace it. And he's a QA, so he used the example of being a QA. He says QAs who only want to do manual testing are being replaced by QA engineers. And so it's a combination of the two. You have to evolve and grow as business and the world evolves and grows. And so y'all can definitely continue to ask these questions. This is a great one. In fact, y'all, I'm gonna go ahead and do it. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna put a call into the show, y'all, because this is a great one. Call into the show. And I'm gonna drop the link here. So y'all could, if y'all on YouTube, definitely be able to call into the show and provide your questions. You don't have to go on camera if you don't want to, but you can definitely just go ahead and share your thoughts as well. Just drop the link. And in fact, I'm going to go ahead and pin that as well. So that way you'll be able to, in case there's more questions there, we won't lose that pin. But I wanted to actually, as we're talking about it, we're already talking about it, but I want to kind of dive a little bit deeper. What are other future trends, predictions that you may have that you're seeing, so we can, prepare for what's to come? What are your thoughts on what's to come?
I think one of the largest things, and for anybody that has been willing to listen to me, I've been saying this to them. I was actually talking to my friend and previous business partner, Brylan, and we had like every time we end up talking, we really talking. My wife would be getting mad because we'd be talking like 4.5 hours, because he's mad smart, and I like talking to smart people, so we just be talking for like 4 or 5 hours and be like, "Yo, man, it's 2:00 in the morning now," and my wife would be like, "Yo, hang up on it." Hang up on it. I was like, "No, this conversation's good." But at the end of the day, so the thing that I was telling him, and he was like, "You need to tell more people about this, what you're thinking about." And this was like a while ago. But and I was actually writing, I was FaceTiming him, I was writing on my whiteboard and drawing out stuff and like showing him like, look at this. And essentially in 2032, which is, I think, is going to be a very interesting year, and that's going to be an election year, all the stuff like that. But I think 2032 is going to have a large impact on America specifically. And that is because in 2032, you finally get to the time frame where the baby boomer generation, right, is going to be fully phased out of being active participants in the economy, meaning that they're either, a lot of them are going to have passed on by then. But on the other hand, even the youngest baby boomers born in 1964 will be 68 years old. They'll be retired, right?
Yeah.
Then you have the Gen X generation, those from like 65 to 82, or 65 to 81, right? You have that group of people are going to be, in the twilight parts of their professional careers. The oldest of them will be 67, and the youngest of them will be 51. Will be the time frame there. So they're like at that stage. But they're a smaller generation, right? Which is important to what I'm going to say next, because the generation that comes after them, the millennial generation, right, which is 82 to like 96, depending on who you're talking to. But really, the millennials and Gen Z, which are important because the younger Gen Xers, like from 77 on, and then the millennial generation and then the Gen Zs all of them have grown up their entire life with access to some type of new technology, right? And in their entire professional careers. Like if you think about like somebody who's like born 1978, like a prime, like real, like serious Gen Xer, right? When they, when the, like that time, like the end of that, who's still going to be in the, their earning prime. Like 2001 happens. They've only been out of college for like 2 years, and then what happens? .com bubble, right? Bust, right?
Yeah.
First set of professional years. A couple more years go by, and then you have this, and they start to feel themselves a little bit. Subprime mortgage crisis, right? That's what happened to them. So basically, they grew up. So they got hit hard. They like got out there, got a job, finished college, and then boom, that immediately happens. Those younger Gen Xers. So a lot of them, you see, that's why a lot of them, so much of them are entrepreneurs, and they're so big on like, nah, you got to hustle, you got to do this, because that's as soon as they became an adult, that's what they had to do. Then you have the millennials like myself who watched all those things happen. In the moment, millennials got to like that time, like the first thing we heard about .com bubble when we're like 13, 14, 15, whatever.
Yeah.
But then as soon as we become adults, it's like, it's time to get a house. Oh no, housing market crash, blah, blah. That's what happens.
Yeah.
And the Gen Zs, those ones born 1996 and later, they've inherited this world, and they're like, dang, all y'all before done jacked it all up, because now everything costs like this much, costs that much. And throughout that whole entire time, what did they all have to say all this stuff about? Well, they had Facebook, they had MySpace, they had all these social media platforms, and they've grown up always being able to Google social media, like those Gen Xers, like they came out and they knew that if I know how to type really good and use Microsoft Excel, I can make more money. Like all of that stuff, that they've always grown up with that being the case. And if you look at the makeup of Congress right now, that's not the life that those people have lived. So it's going to be this new group that now the electorate is going to be different. It's going to be dispersed with this different group of people, and they are going to have different opinions about what things that they want to vote into office at that time, because that's when the shift officially really happens. Because in 2032, it's going to be the first election that that Gen Z really is like, you can't ignore them. Like they're a small part of the population of voters now, because not all of them have become adults yet, but they're going to all be adults then. You know what I mean? And even the generation after, Gen Alpha, a couple of them are going to be 18 years old, able to waiver some stuff. And there was a good amount of births in the 2010s. I'll just put it that way. So if you think about that, the world that we're going to live in that time is going to be different on what type of things can get passed, what type of laws the lawmakers are going to be looking to make, how quickly they're going to want turnaround times, because all of us that are younger don't like that Congress takes 7 years to do anything. But that's going to be different, because there people that are in there are going to be people that grew up watching 15-second videos,
7-second videos,
7-second videos, all that stuff. So it's going to be a whole different thing. And we really have to prepare for that. And even for the people that are a little bit older, that are like, oh, whatever, if you still want to have a job at that time, or you still want to be working, you still want to be generating income at that time, you got to realize, well, who is the market that you're going to be able, you have to kind of point out, think about who you're bringing that stuff to. So I can go more into that, but I mean, I think that's like the basis. And then from there, from that hypothesis, there's conclusions that you have to start drawing about, okay, I need to learn this, because it's not, it's going to be important for me to do. Like typing used to be a class in school. Now it's like, come on, everybody know how to type, right? You know what I mean? Like, it's going to be a different world then. And I'm very interested to see how that election plays out. I think that's going to be a big, like how Obama's 2008 election was a big thing. I think 2032, there's going to be a thing. Like if there's not already a woman president by then, I bet you that's when it happens. I could see there being a big shift at that time.
Wow. Yeah. And my partner in crime, Tech Back Trey, said babies come out the womb typing now.
Exactly.
A B C D typing too. Like everything is gonna be accelerated. Like you got me thinking. I don't want to harp on this question too long because we got a guest that's jumping on the show. He's calling in live, but you got me thinking. Would we see an acceleration or a jump in regards to like what the Jetsons are close to? Because now this group is going to be so progressive that by 2050, like a lot of things that we are perceiving in our mind as this is a cool idea will actually happen. I mean, I want you to hold that thought, but I got somebody behind the scenes who's going to join us right now, and I'm bringing to the stage a one who call on the show, Tech Coach Ralph. What up, Tech Coach Ralph? So glad that you're in the building, brother.
What's going on? What's going on? I'm
What's
not
going on?
camera ready right now, but I just want to
That's
thank
good, that's
Joseph
good.
for all his work, and thank you to Arthur for your service as well as all the work that you do. I did have a question because earlier in the show you were talking about when you're much younger and you were interested in like computers, and it was like, oh, how about a doctor? You know, like the typical stuff that. How do we get like what would you say? How would we get like parents to push their kids more towards into tech? Because like that's one of the challenges that I find. It's like um, all these other things, but tech is they're so expensive and so lucrative, but it's like they don't see it until way later down in life, and it's like, oh, let me do a boot camp when you're so far behind at that point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that's an interesting thing to mention too, because I've thought about this myself. It's something that I've been thinking about. And I was even had a couple meetings, but didn't really go too far. So hopefully that can change. But I wanted to do like a program where like I could like to do like an after school program type thing, like at my kids' school, where like I could teach them how to code from when they're younger and things of that nature. Um, like that's something I was looking at doing. But I think that probably like the biggest thing is people understand whatever is in the cultural mind at the moment. So back in the 90s or whatever, everybody knows like doctor, lawyer, boom, money, right? Because that's something that's like talked about all the time. It's what you see on TV. It's what you see in mass media, etc. So the more we start to see technology and stuff in mass media and on I don't even want to, to joke about a little bit. I mean, people are starting to be like, I've had plenty of kids. I tell kids like I tell like a kid what I do. And he's like, oh, like Iron Man, you like Black Iron Man. Somebody said that to me before. You know what I mean? They're like, yeah, because, building stuff or whatever, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, yeah, I'll take that. I mean, not really, but yeah, sure. Like, but that's because they see that though. You know what I'm saying? Like they see that. But, back in the day, we saw like, Cliff Huxtable, doctor, we saw this, saw that. So people need to see it. They start seeing it more, and they start seeing it, out there, and they see people that look like them. That's why diversity is important. So we need to see, Asian people, Black people, white people, Indian folks, etc. Like all doing this, and they'll start to say, I could do that too. Like even to tie it back to like Jeff. Like, I wanted to do some stuff, but then I was like, oh man, that brother's doing it right now. Dang, I could do that then. Like, there's a whole like limit I had on my head, just like went off, and I've been trying to go crazy ever since then. Not that I couldn't have done it before, but I didn't have my belief level needed to be raised just a tad bit, for me to see it. And so seeing it was like, let me go do this now. I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, definitely. That's awesome. Sounds like we need some rappers rapping about like technology and stuff like that.
Well, you talking to the right one. I don't know if you see my socials. I got a song coming out on Spotify and streaming platforms called Deeper Than Code, and I got another one called Mr. CTO. That's dropping too. Performed by Jay Nolan. So I already look, mixtape already coming soon, right? But that's a whole other thing. It's a little bit corny, but I like
that's awesome. Yeah, that's awesome. One more question before I jump off. So one thing I see too is like a fear mindset in a lot of people, probably like majority of the world. Is like as soon as some new technology comes out, it's going to kill this, replace that, and some things are meant to be replaced, you know. So, but when you were answering the question, I see the embracing mindset of, oh, how can I use this to leverage this and take advantage of it? How do we shift that mindset of from that fear base to how can I make the most of this?
Mhm. And I will say when I'm coaching people, the thing that I will say is that you need to have like there's two ways you could look at things. Um, and you're a coach too, so you probably know exactly where I'm going with this, but you could have like a internal locus of control or you can have like an external locus of control, right? And when you look at stuff, you have to kind of look at it from the point of view of what can I do with this, because that gives you power in the situation. It's not always as helpful. Yeah, it's good to be mindful and be realistic about the things that you have going around you, but you need to focus more on what you can control with the technology as opposed to what you can't control. So I think that that is, very, very, very important. And another thing is like, shameless plug on my book, sidestepping. It's available
Come on now.
on Amazon. So in the book, I have a formula that's written in there. Um, and it's C plus MM plus SK. I'm not going to say the whole thing because I'd have to write it for it to make sense. But basically, what it says is that your character plus mindset mastery plus specialized knowledge. That's the things that you need in order to have a positive, like trajectory, right? And then times directed action, right? But then divide that by obstacles, right? And then that equals your results. And then what the book is about is you need to be mindful of those obstacles because they're going to be in your way and stop you from doing certain things. So learn how to sidestep them, the ones that you can, and overcome the ones that you can't. But you need to work on that that character part, that mindset part, and then the specialized knowledge becomes more useful. So to take from that algorithm that I wrote, because I'm a coder, so I couldn't help but do it that way. So take from that mindset mastery part of thinking about like your internal locus of control, not always focusing on the negative, not like those type of things. That's actually going to be helpful. And then also having a strong character, um, is going to, help you move forward there. And that means a lot of different things. So, I won't go crazy with it right now, but I think everybody can see kind of where I'm going with that. Or if you want to know more, to read my book. But
Good plug. Good plug.
All right, that's awesome. I appreciate it. And I'm gonna jump off, but I just want to say, like, Joseph, he brings someone on every single Saturday to share their insight, their experience, their knowledge, and then like these people are open to to connect and everything. So there's so many resources out there that I think a lot of people don't take advantage of, and you're only hurting yourself if you really want to move forward, connect and do what you have to do. Appreciate you guys.
definitely. Thank you.
So appreciative of you, man.
Shout out, Joe.
Yeah, thank you so much. I definitely appreciate you, Tech Coach Ralph. He's been such a friend to the show, and I always post his stuff. Like, y'all go ahead and go to Tech Coach's Ralph channel. Like, he has some really good Q&A stuff, especially for those that are on the technical side of the tech sales industry. Like, definitely not the tech sales, but the tech industry. If you're on the technical side of the tech industry, definitely locking with him. Really good stuff. Y'all should definitely collaborate in some way, shape, or form. I think that'll be excellent. And we're going to be wrapping it up very soon, but I want to go through the comment section really quickly because I want to be respectful of Arthur's time here. And I just want to go through a couple of the comments here. We have my bro Tech Bag Trey says definitely need to start seeing more of it in real life in regards to the examples of people working in this industry. So that's so good. And then we have the Y Network. What up? Why? Exactly. I can tell you that all my 10 children are doing something in tech, especially because I'm in tech as an example. They have no choice. LOL.
Shout out to having 10 children. I got 4, and I'm like, yo. I thought I'd like that. That's hard work. Like that's a whole job in the morning trying to get everybody where they're supposed to go in the morning.
Yeah.
Man, I'd be tired. I'd be like, oh, whew,
Yeah.
got everybody there on time.
Yeah, y'all beat me out. I got 6 and she beat me out with that 10. I was like, okay, you got it. Also that my daughter already is already coding in JavaScript in high school, and next year she starts her cybersecurity program as a junior in high school.
Oh, that's
This is
good.
definitely the norm even before 2032. I love that. In fact, not even somebody else actually pointed that out too. That's awesome.
And she's gonna be
That
a
was
voter then too. That's
yeah.
the thing. 2032, she gonna be a voter. See where
See,
so you already see.
it's happening. This is like the Twilight Zone before the Twilight Zone, right? This is awesome. The Y Network. I never knew that was an option in high school. I hope the best for your daughter. Like that's so cool. I totally agree with that. And then the response to that was it actually starts in the students learning computer science in middle school. Wow. So they starting earlier and earlier. It's probably gonna be an element by the time, like what are you talking about? It's probably be done something that's taught in elementary school, like literally,
Mhm.
because that's how advanced we're gonna go. But I do have a question here. I want to make sure we go to it. This is from Tireless 2 cents, and it says, "Do you feel by 2032 certain coding languages will be mandatory in public school curriculum? For example, a typical class schedule will be math, science, JavaScript, PE, etc."
I think that just like as we just talked about, like that you already see that starting to happen now. Like they're starting to have more programs and stuff like that, depending on where you're at. I know here in Georgia that hasn't really occurred yet. But I'm really interested on like where the Y network is at because like they're in Palo Alto or something like that. Really, really be interested to know where that is. But but yeah, I think that schools around the globe are going to start to see that that's important for people to be able to do. And in junior high school, my kids are doing stuff. They have a thing where they do Scratch, which will start to get you thinking like a programmer. And my daughter was killing it with that, and then I started teaching her some stuff. So now she knows how to do a little bit. But yeah, so overall, the short answer to the question is yeah, I think that's going to become a thing. But I don't know what languages they're going to say are necessary. But I would say that it probably makes sense for them to pick JavaScript since it's so versatile, and then the students can actually see something occur immediately because JavaScript is the programming language of the web for people that don't know that. So I could literally make a website immediately and get it live with JavaScript as opposed to like C++ or something. I got to jump through like a whole bunch of hoops before they can see something that they would respect, as quickly. So a JavaScript and Python probably be like the number one ones that would be great ideas to put in the curriculum.
Love it, love it. I think that's a really good, insightful point there that you made. I want to just pause right now and say thank you to all of the moderators that I have on this channel from Operation Tech Takeover. Let's start with you, brother. They say this person has been riding with the show for such a long time, and I want to say thank you to you for just all that you do, all that you got a lot. Everybody got a lot of their personal lives, but you always make sure that you're here. Darcel, thank you so much for holding it down, as well as Mitch. You both are very critical to the success of the show, as well as Tech Coach Ralph. Thank you so much again for your support. And like he says, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the show. It really does push messages that we have, similar to one that we had with our guest today. It really pushes it to the forefront and allows them to get all of the things that they plugged into the show seen by other people. So we definitely want to do that. And of course, my bro, I already know, Tech Bag Trey. Thank you all for all of the contributions that you have all made to this channel. Without y'all, this channel will not be where it is today. So thank y'all for that. We're going to be wrapping it up soon. And appreciate you, man. Thank you so much. Yeah. This is a great show, and indeed, I totally agree with that. But I have to keep in mind that it is Saturday, and so Arthur has some stuff to do. He kind of did this on a whim, so I want to be respectful of his time. But thank you all so much for stopping by. Mitch is hilarious. He said, "You're gonna make me cry, Joseph." Well, hey, man, I meant every word. I meant every word sincerely. And so, yeah, y'all, the information for everything that he's talked about, other things that he has, it actually is going to be in the description of the show. I got a guest in the back office that I have to bring up right now. So I have one more person I'm going to bring up, but just so y'all know, after this, we're probably going to cut the show just to respect the time of my guest. But definitely, if you can, go ahead and check out. It's going to be in the description, show notes on YouTube. Go ahead, connect with him on YouTube. Hey, bro, I was going to talk to you about this too. You have like over 500,000 followers on Instagram. How did you do that? And LinkedIn, definitely connect with this brother because he's got a lot going on. But while you answer that question, Arthur, I'm going to add our guest to the show. As this is OTTO, aka Operation Tech Takeover, and he has probably a comment or something he want to share, and then we're going to wrap it up here.
What's going on, people? Yeah, I just want to say, bro, thank you. You know, man, just for everything that you do, bro. You've been a guiding light for a lot of us. You bring a lot of people together. You the glue, Joe. So I just want to personally say thank you, man, for everything you've been going on. You know, I got, like you said, bro, has family stuff going on, bro, but you've been there for me more times than I can count. And I've seen Big Poppa Cole before in a couple things. And, brother, I want to say to you, you are a GOAT. And I've seen the stuff, and I've done some research after seeing you on a couple other interviews, bro. So thank you for what you're doing for the culture, for the community, just showing out, man, showing people what's possible, bro. I did a coding boot camp in 2018, 2019. It's like, man, I don't know if I can do this. I don't know if it's it for me. I just chalked it up to having a bad experience with the mentors that were really there, that weren't there. But seeing you and what you've brought to the community, bro, like it gives me a second breath, bro, like a breath of fresh air, seeing somebody who looks like me and doing the things that you're doing at a high level. So, bro, thank you for your time. Thank you for coming on here with the community, showing the Techniche Tips community, bro, what's possible. So, Big Poppa Cole, thank you so much, sir, for what you do and for what you pushing the community forward. Joe, thank you, bro. It's much love. I'll salute, and I'm always going to be there for the family. You know that.
Likewise, man. Making me misty eyed a little bit here. Maybe my allergies. We're going to spring, right? It's my allergies. That's what they say, man. But
yeah, man, you know, the pollen's high.
Yeah, like, I don't know. Little pollen in the air. What is this? No, but thank you, sir. Seriously, thank you so much for coming on and saying that. I definitely appreciate it. Appreciate it.
Salute to you and salute to the Big Poppa Cole. Appreciate you, sir. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much. All right. So right now we're going to be, yeah, absolutely, man. Appreciate you so much. All right. So right now we're going to be signing off. And I wanted to make sure that I just put that out there. And thank you again, Operation Tech Takeover. But yeah, I want to just say one more time, if you could find, and actually, you know what? We'll talk offline. I want to see how I can support what you're doing. But yeah, everybody, thank you so much. Check out the Deeper Than Code podcast. Go ahead and lock in with my brother. And until next time, y'all, like I always say, I hope to see you on the other side, the tech side. Stay tuned for the next episode and have a great weekend, y'all.
Peace.